If you ever loved me, just die. Those were the words my wife whispered to me the day I came back from the dead. Not a metaphorical death. No. According to the world, I was buried, mourned, and gone. And when I returned, she didn't cry from joy. She looked at me like a ghost who ruined her perfect life. 5 years have passed since that day. 5 years since everything I knew burned down, literally and figuratively. I've carried the smell of smoke in my lungs and betrayal in my bones ever since. This is what really happened. It started the day I thought I was escaping chaos. The city had been choking me for years, the noise, the crowds, the endless rush. So when my company offered me a transfer to a quieter town, I took it as a sign. A fresh start. A breath of air. I packed up everything and told my wife, Mira, we were leaving. She didn't smile. The capital was her world, her friends, her family, her comfort. But I was the one paying the bills, and I was done suffocating. We moved with our 2 kids. Back then, they were the center of my world. My reason for breathing. It's strange how you can love something so deeply and still lose it completely. The children adapted fast. The parks, the silence, the open skies, they loved it. Mira didn't. She began drifting away, piece by piece, like she was erasing herself from our life. Late-night messages, secretive smiles, new perfume for no reason. I wanted to believe it was loneliness. But deep down I knew. Then came the message. No name, no greeting, just words sharp enough to carve into my skin. Stop pretending. Your wife has a lover. Another followed. She loves him, not you. And finally, those kids aren't yours. I can still feel the weight of that last line. The way my heart turned to ice. When I confronted her, she froze, just for a second. That one flicker of fear told me everything. Then she put on her mask and called me paranoid. Said someone was trying to destroy us. But the truth had already cracked the surface. I told her we'd do a paternity test. No more lies. We drove to the city in silence. I remember the children chasing pigeons while we sat on a bench not speaking. I tried to hold her hand once. She pulled it away. When the results came, I didn't need to read them twice. Neither child was mine. Not one drop of my blood in their veins. Something inside me broke that day, something that would never heal again. I didn't shout. I didn't hit anything. I just told her to leave. She begged to stay a few days to say goodbye to the kids. I let her. 2 days. On the couch. Those were the longest, quietest days of my life. I thought the worst was behind me. I was wrong. The day she was supposed to leave, the factory exploded. Fire, smoke, screams. I remember the heat melting the air. I tried to run. Then nothing. Darkness. When I woke up, weeks had passed. My skin was burned. My voice was gone. Tubes everywhere. I didn't even know who I was, but I was alive. Barely. What I didn't know was that the world thought I wasn't. A man had died in the fire, wearing a jacket like mine. My wallet was in my locker, so they assumed the body was me. Mira identified the corpse without hesitation. She signed the papers, claimed the insurance, and disappeared with the man she had truly loved while I was lying in a hospital bed fighting for my life. She was spending the money from my death. When I finally regained consciousness, the first person I saw was a woman I didn't recognize. She called me Elias. Said she was my wife. Turns out her husband, another worker, had died in the fire too. In the chaos, they'd confused me for him. She took care of me, talked to me, prayed beside me every night. When I whispered my real name, she broke down. I'll never forget her tears. She'd been loving a ghost. It took months for the truth to untangle. The doctors realized who I was, officially dead, legally gone, but still breathing. The government had already stamped my death certificate. My wife had buried me. Posted photos with black captions and crying emojis. I wanted to scream, but my throat was too damaged. I wanted to hit something, but my hands were too weak. I was alive, but powerless. When I finally recovered enough to walk, I went to my parents. My mother fainted when she saw me. My father just stood there, pale, trembling. Then he hugged me like he was holding proof that miracles existed. And then Mira came. She sat in front of me, calm, almost businesslike. Said the insurance company was after her. Said the money was gone. that I should help her fix everything for the kids. Then she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "If you ever loved me, die. Just die again. It'll be easier for everyone." That sentence will haunt me till my last breath. I told her those children weren't mine, that she had killed everything good in me. She wept, begged, called me cruel. But I didn't care anymore. I wasn't her husband. I wasn't anyone's father. I was a man who'd already been buried once, and I wasn't going back to the grave for her convenience. I took her to court. For fraud. For identity theft. For emotional and financial destruction. The case took years. I lost count of the hearings, the signatures, the nights I wanted to end it all. But justice, imperfect as it was, arrived. The insurance company recovered part of its money. I got compensation for what I endured. Not enough for the pain, but enough to rebuild. The man she cheated with, her lover, was the one who sent me those messages. I found out later. He laughed about it once. He doesn't laugh anymore. He's in a wheelchair now. I won't say how that happened. But I will say this, fate has its own way of balancing things. Mira now lives in debt, trapped in the ruins she built. The children, I don't see them. I wish them peace, but they are not mine. As for me, I built something small. My own business. My own life. My reflection in the mirror still scares me sometimes, the scars, the burns, but I've learned to live with them. Because when the world buries you alive and you claw your way out of the dirt, you stop fearing death, and maybe that's my curse. Maybe that's my freedom.